Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Mpho Moreane, long live. Thank you very much, Mayor. I must say to you in front of the mourners, Comrade Mpho didn't sleep. The councillors are not sleeping due to ESCOM, President. Their lives have been threatened. On the memory of our comrade, Mpho Moreane, we want to request the Executive Mayor, Mpho Palat, we're pleading with you. Comrade Mpho Moreane had plans, our President, speaking with city power before the elections. So we want those plans to be fast-tracked. We are requesting, because it cannot be, that because of service delivery, our councillors' lives are threatened. Our councillors are not sleeping at their homes. ESCOM is a thorny issue, President. At the present moment, I'd like to call upon our Premier, David Makuru, to come and speak.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mourners. Before our Premier addresses the mourners, we'd like to call upon the civic to come and read the casket.
His Excellency the President of the Republic of South Africa, Tate Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, I have the honor and privilege to now invite the drill squad to come and drape the coffin of former Executive Mayor Mpho Moreane with the flag of the country. And as we do that, all rise, and we would request that the mourners, the family, remain seated, and we also request absolute silence as we do the draping of the coffin. Program Director, thank you. I will hand over to you.
Thank you very much. At the present moment, I'll hand over to our Premier.
Thank you very much to our program directors. And I would like to say that's really the way an official funeral is done. Thank you very much. At this point, I would like to say to our sister, Moreane, and the children, our mother, Moreane Senior, and Gladys, the sister, the entire Moreane and Nkosi family, the President of the Republic, His Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Very Reverend Kolani Wati, and members of the clergy, the Treasurer General of the ANC, Comrade Paul Mashatile, and the national, provincial, and regional leadership of the ANC and the Alliance, ministers, deputy ministers, our MECs, the host mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Dr. Mpho Moreane, and the speaker, and the leadership of the city, the leadership of the ANC caucus, and all the councillors, executive mayors, the leadership of SALGA, the representatives of all political parties, the people of Alexandra, fellow mourners. Once again, the icy hand of death has snuffed out the luminous life of a gentle soul, our beloved brother, comrade, and colleague, Councillor Mpho Moreane. On behalf of the people of Gauteng, I once more convey our deepest condolences to the grief-stricken family of Councillor Mpho Moreane, our colleague and comrade. Sister Fikile and the children, nothing has indeed prepared you for this sudden departure of your father and your soulmate. And nothing has prepared you for this moment. Our mother, Mama Moreane, and Gladys, and the grandchildren, and the entire family, we are here today because you have lost a very dependable pillar of the family. I must also say, nothing has prepared the ANC in Johannesburg and the ANC as a whole within 10 months to be burying the third preeminent councillor who occupied the seat of a mayor. This tragic loss is both incalculable and somewhat unprecedented. And I think the hurt is deep. But it is in moments like this that we are reminded of our mortality and our fragility. These moments ask us to pose to ourselves the question about our purpose on earth and our responsibility to others. The question which Councillor Mpho Moreane answered vividly, emphatically, and clearly. We agree with Kofi Annan when he said, this world is not ours. The earth is not ours. It is a treasure we hold in trust for future generations. I want to say this city, this province, and this country does not belong to political parties. It belongs to the people of our country to to the law-abiding citizens and residents of our land. And it belongs to future generations. And we are just entrusted to look after our city, our province, and our country. We have to look after our city, our province, and our country in the way Councillor Moreane would have done. Moreane was a very practical man whose life was a powerful statement that we only find purpose and meaning in our lives when we have a duty to others, and that is a duty to serve. He shared whatever he had with those who needed help and assistance. And everybody who knew Moreane will remember him for his generosity and his collegiality. Many foundations and trusts that were established to carry out developmental and charitable work would know about his legendary fundraising skills. He helped raise a lot of money, not only for political work, but for developmental work. He helped to educate many students. He helped to support young golfers. He helped to support many families in the course of his work. He was a member, incidentally, of our trust, in addition to his political work as a councillor and his work in the ANC. He shared his skills, his time and energy, and generosity to push for higher ideals, to help others realize their dreams. Sis Fikile, you know, you were always, you, Mpho, and my wife, were always part of this annual fundraising event, which raised money to educate more students from the townships and villages of our country, and to support the youth who are interested in golf, the youth as far as in breadth, and to support young people as far as Limpopo in realizing their dreams. So we bid him a farewell as heartbroken people, but our dreams are not broken, and his dreams are not broken. The Moreane and Kosi family, we know you are distraught. We know the ANC in Johannesburg in particular, you are distraught. We know that the city is confused, Mayor. We know the city is confused about these losses. The country is poorer without Moreane. The golfers are distressed. We saw them today. Many students he helped to educate across the country are heartbroken. We have been struck within 10 months by multiple tragedies, pain and sorrow. We have run out of words to express our pain, and we have cried until there are no more tears. And we have run out of explanations. What is happening in the city of Johannesburg? But let me say, we have not run out of faith. We have not run out of hope. We have not run out of a determination to transform this city into an Afropolitan city that is based on inclusive urbanism and sustainable development. We have not run out of the will to fight and fix all the infrastructure problems of our country. For Moreane would have said, the struggle continues. We have not run out of the energy to clean our cities, because Moreane launched Cleaner Joburg campaign to clean this city. So the struggle continues. We have not run out of the energy to fix the electricity problems in our city and in our country and in our province. Mpho Moreane did everything to fix and attend to infrastructure problems of our roads, water, electricity with a great deal of urgency. So the struggle continues. Councillor Moreane was a practical man who was driven by the love and care for others. He taught us not to bear grudges even as we disagree, not to turn political disagreements and differences into personal hostilities. He taught us to be better leaders and to stay civil even in our disagreements as political parties in council, in our parliaments, and in our legislatures. He also taught us in the ANC not to shed blood even when we have disagreements. He taught us the true meaning and consequences of democracy, that we must rid our politics of the violent rhetoric, theatrics, and polemics, that we must defend even those with whom we disagree. And such was the life of Mpho Moreane. In practice, a profound democrat, a peacemaker, and a reconciler to the poor. He was a man of action. He was always in a hurry. Moreane lived as if he knew that he was going to leave now. No time was spared and wasted in pointless debates. He wanted problems to be solved and progress to be made. And in his short time, he achieved a great deal. This was a man with a mission. He wanted Johannesburg to advance, to develop, to be inclusive. And he wanted a good quality of life for all, especially those who live in our townships. He wanted the residents of the city to join in the campaigns to advance development, regardless of race, class, gender, religion, geographic location, or a place of origin. And many of us who had the opportunity to come into the personal orbit of Moreane's life appreciated his warmth and generosity. And he focused on getting things done and making things happen. This was his art form. And that's how he expressed himself. How to get things done is a very big challenge in government. I take this opportunity to thank the city, the leadership of the city, and our caucus in the city of Johannesburg for giving Councillor Moreane a befitting farewell. And I want to say we work together very well, the city, the province, and national government, in getting to this point. And finally, Moreane was like a departed soldier of El Salvador who had in his pocket an untitled poem. And this poem goes as follows: "Ask not my name, nor if you knew me, if the dreams I have heard will grow without me. Alive no more. I will go where my dreams have shown me. Those who carry on the fight will plant other roses. All will remember me." We pray that God gives the Moreane family the strength to heal and to carry forward Mpho Moreane's legacy. Ultimately, we are all sojourners of this earth, and each one of us have their day. And when God calls, the phone is answered always. Today we shed our tears about the untimely departure of Councillor Moreane, but we also smile that he has lived a glowing legacy and enriched our lives. We say to him, farewell, our brother. We salute you, and may your soul rest in peace. And I take this opportunity, Mr. President, to thank you for being here today to comfort the family of the Moreane and Nkosi. But you have also come to comfort us because here in this great city, tragedy is reigning at the moment. Confusion is reigning, and there is fear. The mayor is right. There is fear. Our city has lost, and our city and our movement is reeling in shock from these multiple tragedies. And I would like to invite you, Mr. President, to deliver your eulogy, to comfort the family and all of us. At this point, I invite you, Mr. President. May we all rise, except members of the family.
Let's be seated, please. Program directors, members of the Moreane and Nkosi family, my dear sister Figile, and the children, Limme, Moreane, Your Worship, the Executive Mayor of Johannesburg, Dr. Mpho Moreane, councillors, ministers and deputy ministers and MECs, Comrade Paul Mashatile, the Treasurer General of the African National Congress, and members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, the provincial leadership of the ANC and the regional leadership as well, the leadership of the Alliance, the leadership of the ANC Women's League, Youth League, Veterans League, the people of Alexandra, fellow mourners, Baruti, who are here with us, Reverend Dwati, and all other clergy leaders. Comrades and friends, today is indeed a sad day, but it is also a day for celebration. It is a day on which we celebrate Mpho Moreane's life and remember him fondly. And it is also a day when we've had expressions of affection and love from his family, from his friends. We had all held out hope that our dear comrade Mpho would recover from his injuries. Just a few days ago, Premier George That's his new name now. Premier David Makura, who had kept me briefed about the progress that Mpho was making and responding, but then in the end, disaster befell us. But what we on earth hope and wish for, we do not always receive and get. It was in the book of Isaiah 55 verse 8 where it said, "By God, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, so declares the Lord." On behalf of the people of our country and indeed the government, I offer my condolences to the two families who have lost their husband, a father, a brother, an uncle. Our condolences also go to the African National Congress in Gauteng for having lost a dedicated leader. But our thoughts are also with his many comrades, his friends, and his colleagues, who today are mourning his untimely death. We have seen all the heartfelt tributes from not just his colleagues in the city of Johannesburg, but also from those who interacted with him during the course of his life. We've heard from members of the media who described Mpho as being affable and always available to answer their questions and also to grant interviews. As I listened to all the tributes to Comrade Mpho, the one tribute that stood out was his approach to work, to volunteerism, and to selflessness. As I reflected on this attribute, another verse from Isaiah came to mind. Isaiah 6, verse 8, which said, "I have heard the voice of the Lord saying, 'Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?' And I said, 'Here I am, do send me.'" Comrades and friends and colleagues, we always speak highly of servant leadership. We extol its virtues on public platforms. We put the words "send me" in our policy documents and on our official banners and use them to round off our speeches to the people. And yet there is sometimes a gap between what we profess and what we do. Comrade Mpho Moreane was the model of a servant leader. He was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg for only a brief moment, having stepped into the breach following the untimely death of Jolidi Matonga. After the 2021 local government elections, he had to move to another role, that of being a leader of the opposition and the leader of the caucus. He didn't lay traps for the new executive mayor. He didn't cling to the mayoral chain and cause chaos in the chamber. He deferred to the will of the electorate, to the instructions of the leadership of his party, presiding over a smooth handover and transition, and returned to being just a councillor. In that role, he did all he could to ensure that the council was run in a spirit of cooperation and that all views would be respected. He believed in taking responsibility and accountability including for decisions that were made by his predecessors. When his movement deployed him anywhere he went, he was loyal to the ANC and served it without expectation of personal reward. He respected and safeguarded the resources meant for the people. He believed in the renewal of the African National Congress and worked for the restoration of its founding values, for which our forebears laid down their lives. No task or job was beneath him or even unbefitting of his stature as a senior leader in the region. He sat with learners to resolve their challenges with issues such as sanitation at schools, and he would put on overalls and gloves to pick up waste in the streets of Alexandria, always leading from the front, even on issues of cleaning the city. I will never forget seeing the story late last year of Comrade Mpho, his loving wife Fikile, and children arriving at Alexandra Community Healthcare Center to get vaccinated. At the time, vaccination rates were declining in the province, especially amongst young people. There he was, getting himself and his family vaccinated publicly in a community clinic in the township he was born in. In doing so, he was demonstrating confidence, not just in the vaccine and the rollout program, but in our government facilities as well. He was telling people of South Africa that he was from them, with them, amongst them, as leaders should be. In according him this type of funeral, a civic funeral, we are honoring his contribution to the city of Johannesburg and his people. His funeral is here in Alexandra, amongst his people, in the place where he grew up, where everyone knew him and loved him. The cruel hand of fate deprived him of many more years with his family and his friends. It has deprived this country of many more years of service from a talented, gifted, as well as dedicated leader like him. As a country, we are fighting many fires, and he was alive to the many fires that not only the city faces, but the country. It is not an easy time to lead, and yet lead we must. And he knew very well that as difficult a time it is to be in leadership positions, he was determined to be deployed wherever he could lead. This is a year of conferences in the Congress movement, and there will be lots of contestations, as there are in any healthy democracy. And I think where he is now, he would be saying, much as this is a year of conferences, it should also be a year in which those who want to lead come forward with something that they can offer. Because the offering that any leader should have is how best to better the lives of our people. As our democracy has matured, so too has the insight of our people in terms of the types of the leaders that they want and deserve. Last year's local government elections were a wake-up call, and we must take heed for all those who won and those who did not win. The people of our country want leaders who will put the interests of the people first. And today we are bearing a leader who did just that, who put the interests of the people of Johannesburg first. We are bearing a leader of great integrity. Death stalks all of us. None of us knows when our time on this earth will end. What is important is that we use this life to sow good works that will outlive us. Our departed comrade has left behind him many good works. But what he has also left behind is a reminder that values that we live by define us more than what we wear. The languages we speak, where we live, and what we have or do not have. He loved this city dearly and its people. I got to see and feel and touch the passion that he had for this city as I worked with him for a few days last year as I joined him in the election campaign. He exuded passion, commitment, and as I walked with him the streets of Johannesburg, addressing the needs of our people, I saw a leader who was quite dedicated. He was compassionate, but the one thing that struck me beyond just his compassion was how well informed he was. Informed about the plight of our people, but also informed about the granular details of the challenges that faced our people here. What impressed me most was that wherever we went, whether it was planned visit or unplanned, and I remember I went to him to about 5 locations or areas in the city. Whether it was in Orange Farm, whether it was in Naledi, whether it was in Alexandra, on the eastern part, and also in the city center. What stood out much more than I have observed in any mayor was that he knew exactly what the problems were, analyzed them, devised a clear plan of how the water challenge in a particular area would be solved, how the roads would be rehabilitated, how electricity also would be addressed. And he had with him a little booklet for every area, which analyzed the situation, which then set out what needed to be done. But more than that, he also knew how much money would be spent. He also knew the time frame it would take. And here I was looking at a mayor who was going to have the capability of turning Johannesburg around. Of course, the election came out with a result where he had to give up his position. As we went with him, where our people were angry because of service delivery, such as electricity, where we were told that maybe you should not go to a particular area, he was courageous enough to say, that's exactly where we should be going. He was a peacemaker and a bridge builder. I got to see what an influential leader he was as he interacted with our people in many of the townships. But I also saw another side of him, his humility, the fact that he was approachable and people could talk to him easily. He was also respectful of our people, an attribute that is often missing amongst many leaders. He was the type of leader who was always prepared to listen to our people. And I found him to be a very honest leader, a leader who exuded honesty and truthfulness. The words of the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi inspires us at a time like this, when we are called upon to be servant leaders, which he was, and where each citizen is called upon to live by the values he espoused and also as set out in our noble constitution. And as St. Francis Assisi said, where there is hatred, let me sow love, which is what Paul did. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. For it is in giving that we receive. These are the words that I believe underpinned Mpho Moreane's existence. These are the words that guided his life on this earth. And I should say, may we who remain behind to carry on the work that Mpho did, may we live by these words. When we depart from this life, may it be said of each of us that we were of good character and of good reputation. The man that we are laying to rest today was a man of good character. He was a man of good reputation. He was a family man. He loved his family, he loved his people, and he loved his country. To my sister Fikile and your wonderful children, and to the entire family, including his mother, we share your sorrow. May you be comforted by all the words of honor that have been ascribed to your husband, to your father, to your brother, and to your son, Moreane. We take inspiration from his life as we redouble our efforts to build a humane, egalitarian, and caring society. Comrade Mpho put up his hand and was willing to be sent at all times. Here he was, a very successful businessman. When he, having been enticed into politics, was called upon to serve our people, he readily agreed. There is honor in behavior like that. For him, to be sent was not a slogan. It was how he lived. Even as we celebrate his life today, we still feel that we have been robbed of the best that Mpho was bound to offer this country as a leader and as a servant of our people. The type of leader that Mpho was was bound to keep rising beyond the city, into the province, right up to the national level as well. So this is the talent that we've been robbed of. In his memory, let us bring the culture of servant leadership back into our politics, back into our government, and back into our society. We need it now more than ever. We should not be a people who only roll out the red carpet and only drape the national flag over the caskets of heavyweights and luminaries of our democracy. The legacies of men like Mpho, who served quietly, who served diligently, with integrity, will never be diminished, nor will their light ever burn out. May his light and the lights of many others who came before him illuminate our path in the difficult days that still lie ahead. We thank him for his outstanding service to the people of this city, and indeed to the members of his organization, and indeed to the people of South Africa. May you rest in peace until we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our President. At the present moment, I'll call upon our Speaker of Council, Vasco da Gama.
Thank you very much. His Excellency, President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, and all national dignitaries. Premier of Gauteng, Mr. David Makura, and your cabinet, including members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. The Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Councillor Mpho Moreane, member of the mayoral committees that are present, the Whip of Council, Councillor Tyrell Meyers, the Chair of Chairs, Councillor Colleen Makubela, the Chief Whip of the official opposition of the ANC in the City of Johannesburg, Councillor Eunice Mfina, dignitaries from all government structures, including SAGA, fellow councillors, acting senior chaplain in the City of Johannesburg, Reverend Makaya. A civic funeral is totally different from a civil funeral. A civic funeral is an official local government funeral conducted in compliance with the national protocol of a military funeral. On the 19th of May 2022, Councillor Palazzi, Councillor Myers, Councillor Makubela, and myself visited the Moreane family. Together with two officials, made the offer of a civic funeral. This visit was led by JMPD motorcade drive-through parade as a symbol of honor to the late Councillor Mpho Moreane. The former Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg. The civic funeral offer was accepted by the family. We then decided on an integrated program to ensure that the wishes of the family are also met. On Friday the 20th, 2020, the City of Johannesburg hosted a wreath-laying ceremony at the accident scene. The family and the Anglican Church were present at this ceremony. Councillor Moreane's life inspired others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more. Hence, it is befitting for him to be given such a dignified send-off. The City of Johannesburg, where he spent 3 years of his life and served as a member of the mayoral committee, the executive mayor, and leader of the ANC caucus. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Moreane family and Nkosi families for granting the City of Johannesburg this opportunity of honoring Councillor Moreane.